So in this video, we're going to write the create functionality of our React slash Firebase application. So within the source directory, I'm going to create a new component, and I'm going to call this create component. Okay, and we'll just create our we'll write our functional React component code. So, and a return statement there. And inside the return statement, we'll just have empty React fragment tags. And don't forget to export our export default. Sorry. Okay. Now the next step is to import all the required functionality from other libraries, so to speak. So at the top, we're going to import uState. So import uState from React. And we're going to import a couple of libraries, I suppose you can call them functions from Firebase collection and add doc. And that's the functionality that allows us to create a new document in our database. And that's going to be from Firebase /Firestore. Okay, and one last thing, we're going to import our database connection from our fbconfig file, so db from fbconfig. Okay. The next step would be to set up our state variables, our variable and any function variables we're going to use. So we're going to set up uState variables for each of our fields in our documents. So we're going to do title, tagline, and content. But let's just, they're all going to be empty strings. I'm just going to copy that 2 more times. One for title, tagline, and content. So here I'm going to have title, lowercase, and set title. Okay, next one's going to be tagline. I'm going to write this lowercase and set tagline. And our last one will be content and set content. And then we're going to write a variable that will hold our pretty much hold our information from our database. We'll call this our collection, and we're going to use the collection portion of the Firestore, and I'm going to grab our database, and the database we want to access is called data. That's in our backend. Okay. So now we'll write a function that will get called when our form is submitted. So let's do that now, and we'll just call this handle submit. Okay, it's a synchronous function, and we'll pass an object. Now we'll just call it E. Okay, let's just set this first. You can call that whatever you like. I'm just using E. It seems to be what a lot of JavaScript tutorials use. The first thing we'll do is we'll prevent the default action of the browser when a form is submitted. Usually either tries to go to another page. So we'll just do prevent default for now. And then we'll do a try catch arrangement. So let's do that first. And then catch. This allows us to catch any errors, and our catch will pass an object called error, and then we'll run in the error function in the console, and we have a mirrored message to display, error adding document, and the second argument will be whatever error the browser puts out in the console. Okay, so just do that. And now this part here is, because this is an asynchronous, we're going to do an await add doc, which is the functionality from Firebase that allows us to put a document into our database. And in here, because we're going to put our fields, remember of spelling these or writing these exactly how they are written in the database. So if you recall, my fields have a capital first letter, and then we're going to assign whatever's in our title state here. That's going to be put into our field in the database. And the same is going to be for tagline. So tagline, colon, and then tagline state variable, our content field, and we're getting some red squigglies. We'll fix that up shortly. I think I've made a few mistakes here, so apologies for that. So in case all of those within curly braces, okay, let's put those in curly braces. We forgot to do add doc. I've just remembered takes two arguments, okay? So the argument is the database that you want to go in, that it's going to put the data in, and then this is the actual data. So the first argument here, we need to put our database, which is our collection up here. So let's put that in first, and then a comma. Yeah. Okay, so that fixes that little error there. So what will happen is that it'll connect to the database, and then if there's any data in our states, okay, which there will be once our form is submitted, it's going to insert those into the appropriate fields, and then we're going to set the form fields or the form back to empty. Okay, so we're going to return our states variables back to empty. So we're going to do set title, set tagline, and basically all we're doing here is once the function has inserted the record, our state variables sitting in memory will be returned back to empty. So that's what we're doing here. Right. Okay. So that's our on handle submit function completed. So next step now is to code the form. So that's all done. So we just need to create the form that will then send the information to the appropriate state, and then insert that into the database. So we're going to go to the return area inside the React fragment tags. We're going to create a form. Okay. Okay. In the form, I'm going to use onSubmit as the event that will be triggered, and the function that will trigger once this form is submitted is our handle submit. So we'll just write that in there. Handle submit. Okay, I'm going to add some bootstrap classes. Okay, I'm going to do form group. I'm going to margin top of 5, spacing 5. Going to give it a dark background, excuse me, and we'll make it rounded, and we'll put some padding inside the form between the elements, make that padding 3. So we're going to have an input field for title, input field for tagline, and a text area for our content, and a button. So let's put those in now. So we're going to have an input, okay, and we'll fill out all the attributes for these in a second. Okay, and then a text area. Okay. So first, let's do the Bootstrap classes first. So form control, form dash control, and we'll give it a margin bottom so that the spacing between the form elements. Okay, and so form control margin bottom. Okay, and then we'll just do type equals text. And what we'll do is we'll do a value. Okay. Okay, let's just put empty curly braces there for the time being, and then we'll do a non-change. Okay, so let's leave it there because I want to copy all the on placeholder. Sorry, one more attribute placeholder. Okay, equals, and we'll just do empty string. Let's grab all of these. Okay, all those attributes because they're the same for all our form fields. And let's just paste them in each of the form fields there. It just saves us having to do a ton of typing. Okay, so for our first input field, that's our title. Okay, so in the value, it's going to save that value into our title state value there, or our state variable, I should say. On change, we're going to write a function, but first let's just fill out the placeholder, and we'll just put in title, and let's just do all the placeholders because they're quite easy values in the placeholders. So for the next input field, it's tagline, okay, and the placeholder will just be tagline. The same for the text area, the value will be content, and the placeholder obviously will be content here. Okay, the value here is just make sure it matches our states at the top here, our state state hooks that we set at the top. Okay, now the on change is where we write a bit of a function, and this little function will just take what's been inputted into the actual field itself, and then we're going to run our setter states, which is here: set title, set tagline, set content. Okay, so let's do that now. And remember, if we go back to for all the scrolling up here, our handle submit passes an object for E called E, so we're going to use that down here. So here we're just going to go our object E, and we're just going to run this little function will equal to set title. Set title. Okay. And then here we're just going to write e.target.value. Okay, so that basically means the value that's been typed inside this input field is now going to be our value for our set title state. Okay, and the same for the next one. It's going to be E. Okay, and that one's going to be set tagline. Okay, and in there we're just going to write e.target.value. Okay, and pretty much the same for the on change and our content there in our text area. So E set content. Oops. Okay. Make sure these are just normal brackets, by the way, and e.target.value. Okay, so that's most of our form done. We just need a button now, so I'm just going to put a button after our text area. Okay, and I'm just going to put create document. That's the button name, and our button. Okay, it's type submit. We do need to have this, okay, because we're running an on submit in our form here, so we do need submit. Type equals submit, and then we'll turn this into a Bootstrap button. So I'm just going to do btn and then btn primary. Okay, and that should be it. So I'll just change the view to word wrap just to make sure everything is there. Just double checking everything. We've got our classes, that's fine. Our values, title, tagline, content, our on change, set title. Yep, we've got set title there. Target the value. Same with the tagline, set content, excellent. So that's all done. So the next step now would be that's our create component done, is we just go to our main app.js here, and we're going to import this into our app.js. So at this top, we just need to go import create component, and then we'll just render the component underneath our read component. So create component there, save that, and then we'll run a terminal. Okay, npm start, and I'll just pause the video there whilst this runs. Okay, so we have our application running, and here's our form at the bottom. And I've got a multiple number of records that I've put into the database, but let's just write a test one in. I'm going to call this, how many records have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll call this test 7. Test 7. Tagline 7. And content 7. Create document. Okay. So you see that it's just emptied and returned everything to normal, but nothing's showing up here. Let's just refresh. Okay, let's look for test 7. There we go. There it is there, test 7. Okay, so that's the end of this particular video. In our next video, we'll look at updating these and adding the delete functionality as well. I haven't decided what order we'll do them in, so we'll do either one of them in the next video or both. Thank you very much, and we'll see you then.